Hello, welcome to another session of Cigarettes After Cinema. Today we are going to review a movie named A Short Film About Love. It's not that short, 1.5 hour, but this is one of the episodes written by Krzysztof Kieślowski,
He's
a
Polish.
Polish director, and the series named Decalogue. It's made on the Ten Commandments, and they show various aspects of it. And they leave us with a thought to ponder upon. Also, it amazes us in various ways. Okay, it just leaves a moral dilemma in our heads, and we don't know which is right and like, what to do about it. Okay.
This is just one of the themes of Decalogue. Most of the episodes will leave you baffled. I mean, whether what we are doing and what we think as right or wrong would go for a toss. This movie has been poorly remade in Hindi. Ek Chote Si Love Story with Manisha Koirala. Of course, we had real wish to. I mean, one of the boons to watch the Polish one. I mean, to get hands on it is a big thing. So then we watched it, and of course, it was mind blowing when compared to the other one. Um,
Also, the you have to forgive us for we didn't understand the whole
yeah,
thing completely
because of poor
yeah,
subtitling and
yes, it's always the
yeah.
case,
Um,
but
basic
we get the essence of it.
yeah
So
basic nature of Polish. In fact, this is one of those movies in which you wouldn't need to have a subtitle. I mean, it is so simple. I mean, even if you had watched it without subtitles, maybe you would have got like 70-80%
yeah,
of
of
it.
it, yeah.
I would just want to tell a small thing about Polish movies. They are slow moving, and they don't rely on like thrills and something will happen, some car will go crash into something. That is never
And
the case.
it's usually the environment is cold, so people are kind of sad
Yeah,
already, and then things happen
and
to
over and
them,
above the
making them.
pathos is like they show the pathos. I mean about how people. I mean, their misery is like magnified.
I mean, it's about you don't get any sunshine, so
Yeah.
you
So
tend to be
most
a
of the
little
movie
sad.
would be like in the cold time, it would be snowing and ice and how people react to each other. It would be like very, they would show it. I mean, Christoph, his movies would be like a bit of on the drudgery side. But then, yes, I mean, something would take place that would make you like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yeah.
So it takes place in a very slow fashion. It's like slow grinding rather than, fast paced.
So
So
the
with this,
movie,
yeah,
which is going to tell us about love, it starts with a voyeurism. Okay,
yeah.
a young man who's very handsome, I guess. He's peeping on a lady who never puts up the curtain first of all,
Yeah.
and she undresses
She's an
herself.
artist,
Yeah,
perhaps. Yeah,
and she
maybe.
doesn't care
Hmm.
about it, and she seems to be very promiscuous because we can see a lot of men visiting
Going and
her.
going, coming and going. Yeah.
Yeah, and she seemed to have a relationship with them.
Now this guy is like a 19 years old on the throngs of puberty, and he somehow gets hands on a telescope. He and his roommate seems to have shared in the spoils of viewing an older woman through a telescope. Uh, she is
Yet very beautiful.
She is very beautiful, yes, and she is apparently promiscuous. I mean, goes around with several men and has some sort of flings, we can say, with them. Um Now, the first half of we can say the first few minutes or the first half an hour of the story deals with how,
He
uh,
tries to connect to
yeah,
her.
he
I
tries
mean,
to woo her.
somehow
Mm.
let her know that he is there. He has been watching her.
Yes.
So he does it by he doesn't let her have sex, as
Mm.
in by creating a fake
Sends a fake
alarm.
notices from the
Yes.
post office and sends calls her up, hangs up, and
Yeah.
then when she's trying to have sex, calls the fireman to attend to a gas
Interrupt.
leak and stuff like that. So he is quite possessive of her in a very let us say childish sort of a way. Doesn't want her to hang around with other men. uh, Somehow he is successful in that, maybe in trying to make contact with her. And once it so happens, he calls her up and says, and doesn't say anything, but he just breathes on the phone. So maybe she thinks that the other guy on the phone is a pervert. So he says, oh, why don't you talk? Yeah, I can hear you breathing. To which he cuts the phone and then picks it up. I mean, dials it up
Calls
once
back.
again and says he's sorry, and then puts back the phone. So there seems to be some sort of decency in his attitude towards actually loving her. I mean, it's not physical. Maybe this is one of the signs that
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, you actually feel bad for the young man
Yes.
who's actually doing an
He's
illegal thing, I
yeah,
guess.
he's awkward. I mean, he's not able to go talk to her straight away, at least for now. He's just awkward and trying to use all childish methods to make contact with her.
Yeah. And there is a woman which is a part of this movie
Yeah,
with whom this guy
he's actually
Tomek
she's
is
actually
living.
Tomex. The name of the guy is Tomek. Tomex lives with
Friends.
his friend's mom, Marcine's mom, and she seems to be very normal and
But she
tries to
seems
advise
to
him.
give
Hmm.
some nice advice to
Yes.
you. Okay.
And this is one of the first lines she says. I mean, when Tomek is trying to, I mean, he's on the verge of breaking into his 20s, so they'll all be awkward and shy about their sexuality. So that this is where Marcy's mom has some piece of advice. She says girls only pretend to be casual. They kiss boys easily, but in fact they like tenderness.
Yeah.
And
So it's like if you want to call a
girl,
woman, you should invite her over rather than doing things publicly.
maybe
It's
she
better
knows
you.
that already he's peeping at her, but
Yeah.
yeah, we don't
That
know
we
yet.
don't know
Yeah,
yet.
and yeah,
Then somehow he takes up a milk job so that he can see her the first thing in the morning. I mean,
hides
she
the
can see
bottle.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
and although she puts a bottle outside her
Hmm.
house, he anyway
Hides it.
rings the bell, and asks for another bottle.
So he just tried to make contact with her, and
That
uh,
very night, he just sees that
she's having
he
a fight.
yes, she's having a fight,
With
and then she
someone.
comes back up.
Uh,
And I think because of so many relationships that
uh,
happens often or
she
something.
breaks down.
Yeah. And yeah, she opens the fridge, she takes the
Milk
milk
out.
and it spills.
Yeah,
Somehow the bottle breaks and it doesn't break, it just spills.
yeah.
And she sits there and she cries. And Tomek feels very bad for her. I mean,
Mm.
because he can't actually help her out. So
Yes,
he goes and he tries to talk to Marcine's mom
mom.
about it, to which she has a very good advice. Like, he asks why people cry. I mean, yeah, of course he's young,
Yes.
he doesn't understand. So, to which she says that, I
Why?
mean,
When people
cry,
die, they cry for various reasons. When
yeah,
people die, when they are left alone, when
when
they
they are
can't,
hurt,
yeah, when they can't stand it anymore,
yeah.
when they can't stand living, when they are hurt.
And what do we do to stop crying? So she says that
Mm.
one of the methods is just to replace a pain with
With
another
another
pain,
pain.
which was beautiful in its own way. The way it was put was like when he used to have a toothache,
Yeah.
he'd take a
Iron and press it to
iron.
his sleeve or something.
Yes,
So it tries to replace one pain with another. This is what Tomek does. He tries to play with a knife and cuts himself with it. Milk seems to be a recurring analogy in
yes.
all Krislov
The
movies.
whole Decalogue series, every episode will
Yeah,
have milk, and there is another person who's an
who just
onlooker,
yeah,
yeah, bystander or something, and he'll just look at the main character
yes,
for some
but
time.
he's never involved in the storyline. I mean,
Yeah,
he doesn't
he
have any
never
influence on
talks
it.
or does anything.
Yes, and maybe it could be God. It could be a reference to God because he's always dressed in white. So he's carrying a suitcase, or we can call it baggage. I don't know what exactly it means. I mean, in this picture, he comes twice.
Hmm.
Once towards the beginning and once towards the end. Once when he's really happy. That we'll come to that. But yes, this there is milk and this person in the white suit is always a recurrent theme. Um, here, so yes, maybe the milk has something to do with the fact that the milk is spilled. So maybe, and then it's like, don't cry over spilled milk. Maybe this is another. Maybe being an Indian, I could come up with.
Yeah.
So maybe something you can't cry over things that is already over. Maybe she's crying it's over because maybe it was that bad that she wants to break down. We don't know. So let's proceed.
And they seem to connect with milk. I mean,
Yes,
everything. The characters are meeting
due to milk.
due to milk.
Yeah.
So
So again, what happens now is uh, again she gets a notice from the post office, which is given by Tomek. Tomek does this to just meet her, and he sends out fake notices that this contains money. So when she actually comes to collect it, now Tomek is being asked to bring his senior, and then senior asks, "Who's sending you money?" So to which she had no answer. Actually, she was quite insulted by them. So she's accused of being forging the notices. That she takes it as an insult and storms out of the post office. To which Tomek feels repentful and goes chasing behind
Yeah,
her.
and that's when he actually confesses that I've been watching you
Yes.
for a long time, and
Uh,
you cried yesterday.
yes, I have seen you
Okay.
crying.
Yes, I've seen you crying, and
Yeah.
I mean, she's actually creeped out
Mm.
about this, but then she just walks off.
Yes.
But now that she knows that he's been watching, what she does is she just shifts all, her bed
Yes.
to a place so he can watch.
Entirely visible.
Yeah, and then she calls up a person that she knows and tries
Yeah.
to have sex in front of.
And then he tells the guy whom she's trying to
That
have sex with that someone's watching us, so that guy runs off.
Yeah, and this guy goes and
Gives him
he
a socks him.
punches
Yeah.
Tomek. So Tomek
Yeah.
is
Tomek is
like
hurt.
hurt, and the
Ah.
next day,
Hmm.
while do you want to put anything?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next day he goes to get give the milk, but this time the woman is ready. I mean, I don't know what she feels about it, but she's
Yeah.
up. So she comes out and
Hmm.
she is like,
So
you
Tomek
know,
is visibly hurt. I mean, he's injured. So she asks him whether you know how to fight and
she's
what.
just trying to make conversation as if she feels bad
Yeah.
about what she did earlier.
Mm.
So she asks, "What do you intend on doing about this,
Mm.
the watching and all?"
Yes. To which he says, "Because I love you."
Yeah, because I love you. He just says that he barely knows her, and
Ah.
he says,
To
uh,
which he asks, "And what do you want?"
"What do you want?" I mean, it's not about why do you love me, what is love,
Yeah.
and anything.
She
She
just
just asks,
she
"What?"
simply thinks that maybe she is so used to hearing that piece of dialogue that it becomes routine to her. Then maybe the next thing men would ask her would be sex or maybe just something more materialistic. To which Tomek springs a surprise. I mean, he doesn't. He says he doesn't know.
Mm.
So to which she tries to give him options. Do you want to kiss me? Do you want to make love to me? Do you want to go to the lake, Budapest, whatever?
It's-
He says no, nothing.
Yeah, and then he runs away. He just runs away to the
Yes,
terrace and he takes ice
and puts it
and
to his
puts it
ears.
ears and eats some of it. It's like he got
Hurt.
numb. I guess he was just numb to talk to her
Yes.
about such things or
Maybe to gather
confessing
some courage or
everything.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he just gains his
You know, stability back.
yeah, and he comes down.
Yeah.
And then they ask, I mean, they decide to meet
He,
on a coffee.
yeah, he asked her out on a date,
Yes.
and to which she says yes, and he's extremely happy.
This is the scene of the
One of the best
movie.
scenes.
I
Yes.
mean, you just feel,
Yeah.
no matter how stupid we feel at this point of time, doing ourselves the
Yes.
same thing, the thing he's happy about, but the way it is shown, he just
It's
takes the
genuine
milk
love.
cart,
Yeah.
yeah, and he goes around running with it. It's very heavy, and he's just shouting out loud.
Exactly.
That's when the guy we talked about,
In the white suit.
yes,
He
he
comes
comes
with his baggage.
and he kind of crashes with Tomek,
Yes.
and Tomek says sorry. But I mean, it's beautiful. The Decalogue, the theme song,
Mm.
when it is played, the theme music when it's played,
Yeah.
this is a scene which is shown in every episode because
Yes.
it's so important.
So here again they meet at a bar, cafe, whatever, and this is where again he says, "I love you." And then, what did you tell me in the morning? She asks him.
Yes.
To
Hmm.
which he says, "I love you," and to which she says, "There is no such thing."
Such thing.
And then they divert the topic, and he asks, "What do you do? What do you know? Everything and all those things." They just get to know each other. Then they talk about a guy who seen. Did you know the guy? Since she knows that he was peeping at her. Uh,
How well he
yeah.
peeped. It's
So
kind of
there was
like
a guy
that.
who looked at her last autumn, and then she
Sorry.
said that he stopped coming and stuff like that. This is when he reveals the fact that he has been hiding letters of that guy from her. To which
She doesn't get angry
she
actually.
nonchalantly, okay, fine, like let's go. Okay, no issue.
Yeah. And then she takes him to her apartment.
Here, just I would like to say one thing. I mean, the way she responded to the
Letters?
letters. I mean, it was quite
Evident that she liked the guy
Ah.
because she said it. Like, I also liked him.
Yes. But then it was not, the reply was nonchalant. I mean, whether she knew that this was not going to last. Maybe it was always the fact that her love, the love she felt for other people was not everlasting. Maybe she couldn't find true love. That was one thing. But the way she responded was quite unique in its fashion. Someone else would have blasted
Stormed
that.
out of that
Yeah.
place. I mean, never talked to that guy.
Yes. So she just said, okay, fine, it's okay. So then they just get out and they have a small run, catch the bus, and they go to her place.
Yeah.
Here is one of the defining moments of the movie.
Yes. So she comes from a bath. I mean, dressed up all very sexy, and she.
I would just like to
Okay,
mention one
sure.
thing here. Here she tries to, in the bar, she tries to hold his hand.
Yes. Yeah.
So here, and he's quite awkward at it, and he doesn't
And
know how
asks
to.
her to caress her.
Yeah.
In a good way. And she actually tells to look at some other couple how they are
They
doing.
know they do it better.
And yeah.
They try to mimic what they are trying to do, perhaps.
Yes.
Maybe trying to make him feel better rather than awkward.
And she does realize that Tomek's hands are really delicate and soft.
Yes.
I mean, she likes the touch, of course.
Yeah.
So they go home, and then she comes and she sits in front of Tomek, okay? And she's barely wearing
Scantily
any
clad,
clothes.
yeah.
Yeah, clothes.
I would just before this, this guy has got her a souvenir, a small snow.
That is
something.
really beautiful. It's a snowman inside a glass.
Maybe you shake it and all the things fall.
Glitters and all.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love
This is
such things.
This is where she tries. She comes, takes a bath, comes scantily clad, and moves her head around, and she asks whether do I always do that.
Yeah, and he says no. And
and
there's this that she says not everything is a routine. I
And
mean, these are very small phrases,
yes,
but they actually make you stop and think that it's true. Not we do a lot of stuff. It's routine, but there is
Yes.
always something unique every day, each day, right?
This is how most of the Polish movies of Chris Lofer. I
Yeah.
mean, that all the dialogues are like we do. It's not like every scene would have like hundreds of dialogues. There'll be like
There are
hardly
barely any
any.
dialogues. Yeah, 30 dialogues at max in
at
the
max.
whole 1.5 hour.
He gives a souvenir, to which she says, "I'm not good. Don't give it to me." Here, till this point, she realizes that he has not been with anyone, and his love for her is innocent. Maybe the other men whom she had been with had just lusted after her, and only the love for her lasted as long as they have sex, and then it's over.
We
Here
don't
is
know
someone.
what made her lose this thing, or did she ever feel it?
Yes. Here is someone who doesn't want anything from her. I mean, exactly. It is just you just spend time with her, and maybe he doesn't know. But the one thing which they discuss, we'll come to know that later. We'll proceed with this.
Okay.
She says I'm not good. He says I don't care. I mean, he just loves you. To which she asks, what else do you know about me? What do you see when one of them is with me? To which he says it's called making love. To which he says, I've stopped watching that.
Yeah. I mean,
So there was a
he used
point
to
of time.
do that once, but now he cannot. So the point where we also see that in starting, when she's about to make love, he just stops watching.
He puts the telescope away, and felt uncomfortable at that point, which is shown in the movie.
That's kind of love. I mean, that is one of the. I'd say. I mean, you cannot just.
You cannot watch.
If it were just,
Lust.
lust, he would just continue watching and get things out of it.
To which she says, it has nothing to do with love.
Yeah.
The thing she does with other men.
She's so confident about all these things, okay?
Yes.
The way she thinks. So now she sits in front of him and takes his hand and runs it up her thighs, okay? And this guy has never touched a woman, so he instantly
he prematurely
ejaculates. Yeah. And that's when she says, I mean, this is done, and she says that that's all there is to love.
She says already first. She says already.
Already.
And then she says that's all there is to love.
To love. And this actually puts him in a trauma, I guess.
Cracks him up.
I mean, this is it. He's already embarrassed about it, and this woman doesn't understand how much he loves her,
Yes.
and he just runs away.
I think at this scene again, when he runs away from her building, the guy with the suitcase comes again.
Yeah, he.
So this is
Mhm.
actually symbolic. I mean, what exactly are we trying to? They are trying to show us. I mean, with the guy with the suitcase. Maybe we can. This would take one entire episode if you were to discuss Decalogue series. But maybe it is to show the absoluteness of emotion here. Perhaps I mean, absolute happiness is when the guy came once at that point of time, and here this guy is like absolute. He's broken down. There is no middle ground. I mean, it's either
Despair.
grief. So here, what happens is he runs away from the building, from her building, and to which she suddenly feels something that something has gone wrong.
Yeah. She tries to communicate, but
Yeah.
he's no longer watching. She
Yes.
tries to write
Right on
stuff.
a board. I'm sorry.
So,
Please come back.
and then she realizes there's an ambulance downstairs. Okay.
Yes.
So apparently, Tomek had cut his wrist,
Yes.
and he just let himself go.
Yes.
So this is kind of what the aunt told about
Drowning pain with
replacing
pain.
one pain with another,
Another.
and he's hospitalized. Now
So here
there,
the movie takes a change, and this is where she starts peeping on him.
everything is reversed.
Reverse.
She starts looking for him
Yeah.
on maybe the milk, the post office,
Yeah.
everywhere, and she keeps an eye on the aunt if
Yes.
he has come back. So the movie ends with
Hmm.
her finally coming to see Tomek when he's been brought home.
Before this, I would just like to say one thing. She meets Marcin's mom, uh, to which she asks Marcin's mom what happened. She says, "You will find it funny. He fell in love with you." To which he has nothing to say. And he made she said, he made a bad choice." Uh, then to which she asks, "What's his name?" This is the first
Yeah,
time
yeah,
she
yeah.
always she
She
got
never asked,
his name before.
and I think he always knew it.
Yeah.
He did.
And now she goes to the post office, she tries to see who's the milkman, and she wants to get in touch with him.
To know something about
Yes.
communicate. So it's kind of that now she's in love with
Yeah.
him, and probably she has realized this
Mhm.
something like love that exists. I mean, they met for a very little time,
Brief period of time. Yeah.
yeah, but there was a change in her.
Yes.
So the last scene of the movie is her coming to see Tomek, where
In
the
his room.
aunt doesn't let
Her to touch
her
him.
touch him.
Mm.
So she just sits there,
Yeah.
and
She
the
she
binoculars
sees
are
that
there.
telescope is positioned to her room.
Yeah,
Uh,
and she can see this
yeah.
image of her crying, and to this she's not alone. Okay,
Mm.
there's a hand, Tomek's hand, on her
Comforting
shoulder,
her.
comforting her, caressing her,
Yeah.
and she's happy. She seemed happy for that moment.
Yes. Now I would like to. There is an alternate ending to this movie.
Yeah,
It is
which is the Decalogue ending.
Decalogue 6 series in which now the spying till she spies on the postman. So she comes to the post office. She tries to post on the milkman. She tries to come home and see Marcy's mom doesn't allow her. All these things happen. But what happens in the end is when she goes to the post office, he's sitting there, and then she meets him, tries to connect with him. To which he says, "I'm no longer spying on you, madam." So that sort of leaves her heartbroken.
Okay, so yeah, why this alternate ending? Because
Yeah.
the movie was about a short film about love.
Yes.
So for them, it was like making each other fall for love. Okay,
Whereas that was
something.
the Ten
Yeah, it
Commandments.
was commandments. They had to show
Thou shalt
that
not
if
covet thy neighbor.
no, and no, actually, it is thou shall not commit adultery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it
So
okay?
it is sixth commandment is that there's
Okay, it could be interpreted in that.
yeah, yeah, you could. So the whole point of them showing was if you break one of the commandments, things won't be right for you.
Yes.
Okay. So at the end, she wasn't supposed to be happy, kind of.
No, not exactly. She's made to repent what she's undergone.
Yeah. Or she's just made
Maybe
to
the
realize
Tenth Commandments is not
love
about
exists. I
ten.
mean, God talks
Yes.
about love, so God made sure that people understand
What
there
true
is
love
love.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she does it. I mean, she falls for it. So I think
this is one of our quickest episodes of Secrets of the Cinema.
yeah.
Because the movie, we have discussed the most poignant scenes in the movie. As such, the movie doesn't have too many characters, too many dialogues. So we just wanted to make sure you get the essence of the dialogues.
But the movie is beautiful.
It's moving. It's moving. The music is haunting.
And we'd like to talk more about Decalogue in coming
when we review it.
episodes. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.